Welcome back, everybody, to Late Night at the Movies on Late Night Chat Network, your first stop for pop culture talk. Hey,
Attaboy. He
hey,
did it.
JT, John Thomas, sorry, in the house over here with Nico and Julie Mack.
What's going on?
All right. How's everybody been? Everybody's good?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
It's lit.
good.
It's lit out here.
So,
It's a rare occurrence when you two connect so well over a movie pick. Honestly, I'm very like this should be interesting. I mean, it's I can't remember the last time I feel like either of you have felt this strongly about the pick that each other has actually, throughout here. It's interesting.
Yeah, we
It's like-
bonded over songs at the end of the last one about this movie. And you know what? We were singing a song from a different fucking Monty Python movie, I realized.
yeah.
I don't know which one it is now that I think about it, but I thought it was this one and it wasn't. It doesn't matter.
But yeah, no, we had to bring it back to this Monty Python this week. It was obviously, guys, my pick, and I decided I was going to go with the Monty Python's Meaning of Life, and it was I got a little bit of a background with this. I mean, it was the first time I had watched it. I think was with my dad. I know it was with my dad, and it was really different. I think it was one of my first actual British comedies or sitcoms that I got to sit down and watch. It's like sketch comedy of too and stuff like that.
Like with the show?
Well, there's shows the original.
Yeah.
This obviously was their final movie, right? But they went back to their like roots where they were doing sketch films and stuff like that,
Yeah.
sketch
comedy
comedies and stuff like that. Yeah, and British sketch comedy could be fucking fantastic. And the thing is, the best part about it is sometimes you gotta even have it's so thick, like especially in these types, that you have to have like a subtitle going almost at one point, because the words they use are old English and proper English and or maybe slang English that they had from when they were doing their sketch comedies and stuff like that. So I didn't know there's a lot of stuff. I didn't know that. I was looking into this too, and the Life of Brian is one of those ones that's banned again. It's not. It's like not banned, but I mean it's censored. It's one of those things that has been like taken off sort of streaming platforms and stuff like that because of certain, I guess, context and stuff they have in it. Could have to do with religion. Could have to be could have to do with anything, because these guys are really. when I say that is because John Cleese and his group of buddies there, which are probably, I think, one of the original, if not the original, sketch artists, like sketch comedy artists.
So 5 of them, right? I think Eric Idle.
Six.
Is there 6? Okay,
there's 6 of them. Yeah,
Eric Idle, John Cleese, Terry Gilliam, Terry Jones.
Yeah,
Eric Chapman.
Terry Chapman.
Sorry.
Terry.
There's one more.
Here you got Terry Jones. Michael Palin, I think you're talking about.
Palin. That's the other one. Yeah. But Chapman, Graham Chapman.
Yeah, he's there too. Graham Chapman and Terry Gill. Right. So John Cleese and Eric Idle are just fucking phenomenal, those two together. And they've done all kinds of crazy skit comedy before its time too. This is what I like about a lot of their stuff. It's before its time, and I mean, I can see why a lot of it could get censored or not taken in the right context, but they tend to always say something near the end that kind of bring it around, which I've learned that with their comedy. Their style of humor might not be for everybody, but they do end up sort of portraying it in a weird but honest way, like especially with this movie. Right. And they literally went back to old sketches, and they did certain chapters of old sketches, and they redid them to kind of make them fit to basically give you an understanding of what the meaning of life is. It's a weird, twisted way of it, but at the end of the day, it really is. It really does play out with the chapters and the way they play the skits. Like, shit happens, right? That kind of stuff. The one line that I always took from this growing up was, "Life's a game." It really is, and you just got to know how to play it, because you only get one shot, right? So, sorry. my alarm. I promise. I apologize for that. It has its setting, but yeah. So honestly, it's a great film to watch. I can give you a brief rundown if you like of the actual movie, right? Like a synopsis of if you want, but they're running through the meaning of life. They're running everything through from childbirth to death, right, and everything that's in between, and it really, I think, plays close to a lot of what's going on, even with society nowadays, in a weird sort of twisted way. But also the style of using the puppeteering and the style of the explosions and corny things like that with the like you see in the background here with the actual comic style sketching and things like that are just really well done. Like we used to say that, I remember, like a never ending story type of shit, and old when they had to make do with what they had to make do with Jaws and stuff like that, right? So I think it's really cool. And then you can compare it to anything nowadays that's really sketch comedy, from TV shows to movies, right? They do them in both forms, right? But there's a good point at the end of this movie where they had kind of debate that in a sense, right? And I don't know if you caught on to that, but yeah.
What, debate the meaning of life at the end? You mean like finally?
Well, no, like even the right at the end when they had to sit down and I can get into
any comments on
TV and movies
currently? Yeah, at that time, yeah.
Time, right? Yeah, it was totally different.
Still is relevant, I would say, like you said, yeah, in many ways, right? Like it's just now it's just like a bunch of other garbage out there, right? Like I think that people are desensitizing themselves with, because this was prior to the whole what do you call it, like all these shows, reality show type shit, right? So but yeah, in that same sense, what he's saying about, like, all the violence and penises and all that other shit he says on TV, right? Gratuitous kind of stuff that's out there, right? Is that they were trying to say at the end there, if I'm not mistaken, to what you're referring to. Right?
Well, yeah, with the way it is, right, with life in general, and just and it's to me it is surreal, and giving it a rewatch as an adult too is a totally different thing. I haven't watched this, like I've watched skits from it here and there, but I haven't actually had to sit down and watch it in a while, because you can literally watch this in its chapters, really, at the end of the day. They're a little bit like their skits that they had in the television show, like I was saying, but a little longer for each one, I would think, in that sense. But you got everything, and whether you like to think about it when you go back and you think about all the chapters and stuff like that, really think about what you're seeing when you do watch this, because it does awkwardly and very weirdly make sense. It does. I don't know if everybody agrees with me here, but there's certain sections and chapters that have nothing to do with it, but also there's other ones that have very weird ways of showing and depicting how it means something to them. You know what I mean? Like what they're trying to portray with the meaning of life. And really, at the end, they just break it down, right? Yeah. Quickly. It's like, okay, for all the idiots out there, what we're trying to get to is, like basically, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome. And like I said, this brings up a lot of stuff with watching it with my old man, stuff like that. So that's why it was a little bit, I thought about it. And I was like, you know what, maybe I'll get him to watch the podcast one day, right? Because he finally said, "No, that's a good movie," and he rewatched it the other day. So
nice.
We'll have to see. Yeah. Fingers crossed. We'll have it. We'll have him watching it, right? We haven't got him to watch one show yet, so hopefully we can get him to watch one. Every time I give him a movie, he's like, "What kind of fucking movie is that?" So.
I mean, that's sometimes what I say too.
Well, I mean, it's kind of true. And then he gives me other movies, right? Like he suggests other things and other movies, and I'm like, I look at it, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? But they're classics, right? Like, so they're well worth the watch, I would think, right? I mean, yeah, I can tell you, he's probably put his time in watching movies.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you picked this for that reason, because you've always referenced that fact that your name you know, with the whole John Thomas thing, the line that comes from this movie and how, like, you know what I mean? Like that was referenced, he said, like from like watching it with your dad and stuff like that. Right. So like, I, you know, for once, I feel like this isn't just you just being like, yeah, this one looks cool. Let's talk about this one, or I like this one. This actually does.
This one feels like a personal pick.
It is. It is.
It is very personal right now.
Very much so. So I'm kind of, you know, I'm glad, which, you know, sometimes that's the case. I mean, Collateral isn't a personal pick when I picked it last time, but it's just a cool movie.
Sometimes it's just fun. Yeah.
But I don't think when I picked this, it was really that intention there. But then starting to think about it, I've started to think about it a little bit more now lately. So
sure.
Yeah. So I enjoyed it. I always enjoy, like I said, you can never go wrong with a British comedy regardless.
Sure.
If you just need a change, just throw something like a British comedy or even an actual, like movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can really change up the style of just a lot of things and give you a different perspective. And it's just like watching any other, I guess, foreign film, that I said to you guys, I hate reading subtitles, but for this one, for one word here and there, I don't mind it, right? So
interesting.
But there is some words that are old school like English that you have to kind of go through and reference, and it's like, holy fuck. You kind of get where they're going with it.
Even that's regional though to them, right? Like there's different accents even amongst the British people, right? Like there's different
dialects.
Well, just like, like you see, like that's why everyone makes fun of that, like Dick Van Dyke there and like Mary Poppins, because he's got the Cockney accent, right? But there's only certain people like back in the day that would have had that sort of accent from certain boroughs, like in England or wherever, right? Like and because there's so much colonization shit that was going on back then, you'll literally have someone maybe that's like an hour away from where you are, and they will be talking apparently differently than the other person would have, just because of the pockets of like, you know what I mean? Like of the like you said, the accents that they have as a result of that, right? So, or like just like all the war, like all the shit that they had going on at that time. I feel like there's certain towns that will talk differently than the others, or like you said, like slang, like type of words. So even amongst like British stuff, like I've watched enough British stuff where I don't like, I didn't need to put subtitles on at any point in this, but there is definitely some words like shorthand type stuff that British people say that we don't have in our in our vocabulary as a result of us not using those words, right? So it's like when you hang out with friends growing up, like you have your own way of speaking to one another. I feel like a shorthand of
it's kind of like trying to listen to me sometimes or understand.
Yes, very much so.
There you go. You get your own dialect from me myself.
Yeah,
but it's getting better. Come on, I'm trying. Right. So but really, that's my brief little history about the movie and why I enjoy and why I decided I think I'd pick it as a rewatch. I don't know if you guys have any history with it or any sort of understanding of.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why doesn't Julie go ahead, because I feel like I'm the odd man out here this time around. You guys both have a knowledge and history of this film. This is my first time watching this, so
no fucking way, really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He's a Mel Brooks fan.
I am.
He works for the
There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, so there was some confusion where I feel like I edited down a bit of it because we went on for a while after announcing
Mel Brooks.
the end of the last episode, where I made the mistake that I mixed up Gene Wilder as being part of Monty Python because I've seen him in the Mel Brooks movies. And then upon watching this time, I realized that's because Eric Idle looks exactly like Gene Wilder. Yes.
Oh, okay.
If you put them side by side, and I looked it up, many people confuse the two actors, even they've both referenced it themselves that this happens to them.
Did they get mixed up?
And because again, he was in Mel Brooks films, which are very similar to Monty Python in terms of, even though it's not British humor. Yeah, exactly. The approach to the type of like
it's more films too, as approach to small sketches.
Yes. But even so, like,
the type of comedy is sort of
yeah. And
like one giant sketch.
And the period they came out in, it was the same period, like of like the
almost competition.
comedies. Yeah, absolutely. You have their competition across the pond, so to speak, right? Is the Mel Brooks stuff really, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead. That's why I just want to mention that. That's why I mixed up Gene Wilder with that, because Eric Idle. So I really don't have a lot of reference for Monty Python. I'll tell you right now, the only thing I feel like I've ever watched is Holy Grail. That's it. So yeah.
I think I've probably seen. I want to say I've probably seen this movie like 10 times. Probably ballpark around there, because Laura and I used to get baked and watch Monty Python shit all the fucking time in high school.
Sounds like fun.
Like I never. Okay,
but I think I remember it like that too. Is watching Monty Python, little skits here and there from the TV show.
Yeah, but like I think that like the whole running joke about Monty Python stuff is that like girls don't get it and like girls don't find it funny. And right? Like that's kind of the reputation it has. Is like I don't really know, like I'm not really sure where that comes from. Like I guess I don't maybe know a lot of people in our age group that like particularly women that have seen it or like feel strongly about it. So I guess that's kind of sort of rings true a little bit, but I think it's just like, I don't know. I always thought it was funny. Like maybe it's just sort of like the dry British humor doesn't hit always.
I also felt like from everything I've understood while growing up is that people would always reference Monty Python as more sophisticated type of humor, whereas like it's like the underground rap of hip hop, essentially. Like if I had to reference it to something, it's only real big heads and fans of comedy would know the Monty Python stuff when I was growing up. Everybody else would just like, there'd be different pockets of people's references that they would use in terms of their, what they're pulling from in terms of their favorite comedy. And I always felt like Monty Python was definitely like, if you were into British humor, it's like one step above. Like I felt like it's or considered to be like more.
They're legends, man. Those are the OGs. I feel like it's like,
I mean,
like, Live and SCTV, then there's Monty Python. You know what I mean? Like it's sometimes like the comedy nerds, like somebody like
they have fandom wikis about this. Speaking of comic nerds, yeah.
Freudian slip.
Comedy nerds, yeah. Like who's like a comedy nerd like that in that aspect? Conan O'Brien. Like he's the type of guy that would reference like this and SCTV and like that's what I mean. Like there's and then there's people that like Kids in the Hall. Like there's certain types of people that like certain types of humor of this kind of stuff around this time. And I always felt like Monty Python was like one that I never really you know what I mean? Like got like experienced as much like out of all those other things. So
I didn't have exposure to it necessarily as much.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's just like I don't know. Like you say that it's. I don't feel like it has like this is not what you're saying, but like maybe some people feel like it's kind of elitist or like not what the fuck? There's a word that's like on the tip of my tongue. It's not prestigious, but it starts with a P. It doesn't matter. It's like it's not highbrow, and you know how like the Rick and Morty fans are like. Right. I don't feel like the fandom is like that, which is nice.
Well, that's the thing. That was always my perception of it. But then when you really look at it, the absurdist shit that's happening in this movie and just downright stupid stuff at some points, and then the dark fucking comedy that's in this movie at some points, it's very much all over the place. I think like all of their humor, the fact that they all wrote all this shit together is reflected throughout the film, right? Like I think like all of their, because obviously there's going to be some things that they connect with, like they all have like find similarly funny, but I'm sure like some of the darker skits came from a couple of the members over maybe the other members, right? Because they're not all like that, but there's some that are just straight up dark, like in this.
But
I see John Cleese had a lot of say. Like,
I love John Cleese. See, he's the one I have the most experience with out of this whole group is him. I've watched
so many. He's the one that sort of went on to expand, and became like renowned, I would say.
Like I used to watch Faulty Towers all the fucking time, like that show that he was in when he ran the hotel, and it's like a piece of shit hotel. Like I love John Cleese. That's the thing. That's my one connection to this group, right?
Yeah, that mustache has always been there too.
I feel like having that breadth of comedy that's like all these different sort of genres that they've sort of dipped their toe into is like there's something for everyone.
Was pompous the word you were thinking of when you were the
maybe?
Because British people already, there's even a comment in this movie about how they are pompous, right? Like when death.
No, it was something.
Everything gets like
Not
something. Even a lot more TV shows to get this from this series, like from this
Prestigious is
movies
close,
and whatever, is like stuff like oh now I just had a brain fart. You guys were talking and I remember.
I know, I fucking broke my brain.
I think she cracked mine too. No, that's the meaning of life. But no, the people that tend to like this tend to like. I think went on to liking skits and comedy skits. I wouldn't say not. Well, Mad TV when they did stuff like that, like stuff like little sketch comedy.
And I love Mad TV, but Mad TV is just a rip off of SNL. That's the end.
Well, SNL. I mean, like with the one where Jim Carrey with all those guys doing. In Living Color, like all sketch comedy type of stuff. A lot of comedians come up that way, especially there's a lot of Canadian ones that have done it, right?
City.
So yeah, through Second City.
That's what these guys are, right? They're a comedy team.
They fall under a certain category, right? Like in that sense, because they do really have a lot of dark humor, and it's a little, and that's where I always say that that's how I know my old man's thing, because he's got that dark, he uses that cringy fucking humor as a joke, like as
pretentious.
Oh yes, that is the word. There you go. Yeah.
Oh, I so much better.
I get where people would think that though. I believe me, that's what I mean. Like I always felt that's why maybe I didn't gravitate towards it, because I had that perception of it as a result, right? Like that's why I tried to be nice. I tried to say sophisticated, like
yeah. Like I think that maybe it has this bit of a reputation for being kind of pretentious, but I don't think it.
No,
I don't think it has.
Savagely does.
Maybe the fandom is doing that. Like that Rick and Morty fandom is like kind of toxic about it. It's like, oh fucking, you gotta watch it.
Highfalutin, like highfalutin. Top hat wearing this.
Yeah.
I watch this wearing a top hat and my monocle, like
yeah. Like maybe it's got that kind of a reputation around it, but it definitely isn't like that. Like it's pretty fucking.
But it's philosophical.
Goofy. It's kind of lowbrow. There's also highbrow stuff in there too. It's intellectual, but it's fucking off the charts silliness.
Absurd, dark.
Absurd, yeah.
Terry Gilliam stuff that makes it, that kind of elevates it to the
absurdist stuff.
I mean, if you watch his films, some of his films, you kind of see that here, even in this movie, like there's also that whole short, the 15-minute short about the pirate ship building turning into the pirate ship and stuff like that, which is all him, that film, I believe. Like that's his so which is very smart. I mean, it's clever, like what happens in that short, but
it's bizarre. It's very abstract. It's
the filming of it.
Yeah. So I think, anyways, my point being that I don't. This whole thing about girls don't find it funny, I don't think is cut and dry completely true, because Laura and I used to watch it all the time, and her mom is the one that fucking showed it to us. So shout out to Melba for fucking, bringing me in on some top tier, nonsense comedy. Your mom what?
Her mom's named after a toast, Melba.
Melba toast, dude. Yeah, dude. She's top tier silly. But like, so I think she introduced us to Monty Python shit.
Yeah, Nico just said that.
And I also think that like rewatching it, like I probably haven't rewatched it in like quite a few years.
Yeah,
like probably not since probably since I was like 20. It's been about it's been a while, but I think that it hasn't lost its charm. These years later, and it's still smart as fuck, and it's still way ahead of its time, and it's relevant now. Like there's jokes in there that I'm like, damn, dude, how the fuck did they nail that one in the 80s? Like
history repeats itself, and they're just talking. It's just what happens. Nobody ever learns.
Yeah,
nobody ever learns from fucking life. So it's just a cycle.
I think is funny about it is that no one is safe. That they're gonna make fun of everyone, including themselves, and I think that they are like it's sort of that like they're purists of comedy, I guess, in a way that it's like everything is everything deserves to be made fun of, and that should be allowed, and that's fine. And life is about having fun and making things funny, and that's what this movie is to me.
That's good.
The humor's not punching down either, like where people complain about
it's
that.
It's not beating you down,
spirited. It's really them just trying to be buffoons, essentially. The whole
they touch on everything.
I'm just trying to be like that in life, dude.
Yeah.
I think they hit more hard. I think they may hit more harder when it comes to the Catholic Church than any of those other things they talk about in there. To be honest with you,
they were making fun of Americans, which was also a very funny moment that happened while I watched it with my American boyfriend. But then he twisted and fucking made fun of the English right after that, and I was like, oh, see, that's perfect. Like, it's a perfect fucking tie off to that
in the death scene.
Yep. And I just think so. Here's a thing that I learned this weekend that I think ties in really well with the movie is that I was telling these guys about my weekend. I'm not going to get into it, but what a conversation I had during this weekend is that everyone should be allowed to have fun all the time. I'm just trying to have fun all the time. And that the movie is about life should be fun and silly all the time. That's what I think.
And every sperm is sacred.
And that's what it means to me.
Yeah, I think that's well said, because I feel like by the time they get to it at the end, and it literally just takes a minute of him reading off that letter of like, oh yeah, that's right, the meaning of life. We never really got to that. Here we go. It doesn't matter at that point. And I feel like the fact that they go off topic so much and just explored certain things, and whenever they do get to the point where they are trying to make some kind of poignant, like message or like point about like the moment that we're witnessing in the film, it doesn't matter at the end of the day always. Like, that's what I felt like. That was my takeaway from it. Like, I felt like even amongst them trying to like kind of, like shine a light on maybe some aspects of life or make some points throughout the film, which they tend to do. But then they would just go and do something completely ridiculous, like the fat dude in the restaurant puking all over the place.
My least favorite part of the movie, everybody knows.
That's still alive.
Right. So it's, anyways, but yeah, for me, this is my first time watching it, as I mentioned. And this was a hell of a pick. Great pick, Jay. I really enjoyed watching this. It was really funny. It's one of those things, like I said, I just thought was, since it's been in the like, it almost felt like Monty Python, I had seen more of it, or it was just been in the ether. It's it's been talked about, or I've been in circles where people have enjoyed these films. So I just thought that I had watched more of these movies. But when it really boils down to it, I feel like I've only seen, like I said, some stuff with John Cleese and maybe some of the other players.
You've probably seen some skits here and there.
Yeah. And I've seen The Holy Grail. I had a friend show me that when I was younger, and I really enjoyed that.
I feel like that's the one that everybody's seen. Like, anybody that's like aware of it, they've probably seen Holy Grail.
That's their most popular of their films. It's like there's a lot of nerdy type of jokes in that.
I think there is a crack towards Mel Brooks in this fucking movie.
Okay,
right? I think there is. When I thought about it near the end.
Yeah,
and maybe I'll tell you when I tell you that scene.
Sure.
If I get to scenes and stuff like that. But yeah, no, honestly, the story, the way you're saying it too, Nico, it's just a good time, and I honestly thought you would have enjoyed. I was worried about Julie only because I know it's not so PC all the time, and if I pick something where I gotta say something,
she's lightening up. She's lighting up. That's what she's saying. She's here to have a good time.
I was gonna say, but she's watched it like 10 times.
Don't bring the room down here.
No, but she's watched it 10 times. That's kind of over. That's
you know how much she yelled out when you announced this was your pick last epised? Like, I was just like, I was trying to figure out if Gene Wilder was in the goddamn movie. Yeah. That's how lost I was. I'm like, I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen that. I'm like, oh no, I have not.
Lit pick.
Oh yeah, and it's just to think that this is the last one of a bunch of them.
Julie's a Kill Tony fan now. Watch out.
Who's Kill Tony?
Who's Kill Tony? Fucking grow up.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah,
but yeah. So
I think it could ease up on the PC-ness of.
Hey, I gotta stay fresh on what's funny. I gotta watch the current events.
Well, speaking of that,
I gotta entertain the people. I got a job to do over here.
I got an edge.
No. But I know what you're saying. But yeah, no, it's like I actually didn't know that was a popular opinion that the women don't like it. I just never really approached it or watched too much of it myself, so I didn't even know that was like a people that said that. But because Holy Grail's earlier, it's 75, right? 1975 Holy Grail, so that's even older than this one.
I think that I don't know if this was intended to be the last one that they made. Like the last Monty Python entry that they made, but Graham Chapman died not long after this was made, so maybe they just called it quits after that.
Also, I heard as the years went on that John Cleese was a bit of a fucking asshole. I heard. I don't know if that's true or not.
Now, he plays into the role sometimes.
I was about to say, I don't know if this is amongst these guys that it was a problem, but as the years went on, I don't think John Cleese has been thought of favorably in more recent years, right? From what I
grown apart happens.
I mean, it's like what happens. Yeah, I mean, again, it's like you said, it is life, and I don't know if there's any truth to it. I'm just saying, I think I heard that before. That's like how disappointed I was when I found out that Chevy Chase is a fucking asshole and everybody hates him. And see, but this is the thing. I love Chevy Chase. There's a whole period of movies throughout the 80s where I love Chevy Chase. So like. Yeah. For me, when I learned that, I was like, well, that sucks, but it doesn't change how I feel about those movies. But it's one of those things where like
separate the art from the artist thing.
Yeah, but when you hear everybody talk trash, I haven't heard anyone say anything good about other than I used to love Chevy, like in terms of like comedians and or like people in the entertainment business. I don't think I've heard anybody have anything good to say about this guy in recent years. So it kind of sucks. But
yeah.
But you know what? It is what it is. But
as they get older too, and they get more renowned and stuff like that, I think they become a little bit more of a, you know.
Oh, he's totally full of himself. He had major success right throughout the 80s. He was one of the biggest comedy stars of that time, American.
But then they get mad when they fall off that, because you can only be that for a while, right? Like
that's what happened with him and his Community fallout on the show. Community. What happened there? But I'll leave it.
It's Eric Idle and John Cleese that are not getting along.
Oh yeah, they're the two popular ones.
Yeah. See, that's that's
a lot of sense.
And this is recent too. Like as of like 2024, they're still beefing.
I thought I heard. That's what I thought. I heard rumblings of this recently. That's
Eric Idle went on a Conan podcast and fucking talked about it.
Maybe what's his name? Maybe Graham. He was the kind of mediator in it with the whole death part. Like guy's life's too short.
There is somebody usually like that in the group too. Yeah.
Oh, apparently they've always hated each other. They just work together.
Yeah. And sometimes they suck it up and they're able to get through it, right? And I'm sure Conan, I mean, I didn't listen to that podcast. I should listen to that now because I know he's a huge fan. I'm sure he was kind of like, why can't we make this happen anymore, right, with you guys? Like maybe he asked him straight up, right? But that is the case. I heard John Cleese is the difficult one. Like, I mean, and you know,
it makes sense.
There's always two sides to every story. Like, I'm sure Idol maybe did some stuff too. Who knows? But
there's three sides, bro. Remember, there's the truth.
That's right. Yeah, that too. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. And honestly, what I really enjoyed about it is like I liked all the different types of humor that were exhibited here. You know, I and the dark skits were my favorite. Like the dark humor that was in this, I was top notch. Like we'll get into it when we get into scenes, but there's a couple of parts that I like particularly the best out of all of them. And I skew more towards the dark humor in this one. Honestly, like there's a couple of skits in particular which I just think are fantastic in this whole thing. But that's my experience with this movie. It's my first time. But why don't you get into your likes, dislikes, Jay, there of the film?
I don't know if I have a dislike about this film, to be honest with you. There's a lot of films I can say I dislike, but I think like this just like I thought it might have had some dislikes towards certain things, like, you know, the way that they film stuff. But then I think you can see past a lot of that with everything else that's going on and the type of humor and the type of comedy they bring. So, plus, like I said, it does sit in a different spot in my heart in that sense with Monty Python in general, right? But honestly, I don't know if I have any real dislikes of the movie. I might have disliked the fact that they didn't make more after this, right? And that was kind of it. And I understand, you know, somebody passes and whatever, but I mean, there's, you know, people. The show must go on, right? I mean, but if that is true of what they said and they didn't get along, then yeah, I can see where that could kind of, you deter stuff. But honestly, with this movie itself, I thought it was great. I thought that it was cheesy. If that would be considered somewhat of borderline walking a dislike, like it was cheesy at times. Like, if you want to say about the puppeteering, but I still don't.
Your cheesy meter, I don't really understand ever. You call so many things cheesy where I'm like, I don't know like what you think. Like,
no, but
don't think that is cheesy because
I haven't really said cheesy. I don't think I've used that word at a lot. I said
I heard you say it all the time for things where I feel like for like things that, especially humor.
No, he'll say corny.
What corny? Yeah, maybe
corny. Yeah,
but it's still the same. I mean,
yeah,
you
know, in the realm. Yeah, like
it doesn't necessarily need to mean a bad thing. I get what you're saying, but
no, that's what I was trying to say because I can see where people also is maybe what I'm trying to say where I can see it could be like corny and cheesy if they look at it that way. Or I thought I was going to look at it differently that way too, and that's what I said. I mean, I can't say anything about the dislikes about it. I think it's well spoken, well put together. Whether whether you like it or not, or believe it or not, it's way ahead of its time. When most people wouldn't say that. I don't know how many people would agree, but I'm pretty sure there'd be a lot of people out there that would agree with that. So I mean, those were my likes, and like I said, no dislikes really, to be honest with you. I mean, yeah, I can't pick any out of this one. I can't pick anything that I disliked about it. Right, perfect amount of sketch, like time for each thing. Like I said, okay, maybe the one dislike I have to read a couple subtitles here and there about a film, right? Because I don't know the word, but that's it. I mean, really, that's about it. I can't say anything.
I mean, I could throw a dislike out there. I actually, while it was impressive, I didn't really care about the 15-minute film opening, the Crimson Permanent Assurance intro story. Like that was really, really well done. But I felt like when it was briefly brought back into the main story during the chapters and we didn't spend much time with it, I just felt it felt really out of place. And I know that was like, I looked it up and I was like, what's the deal with this, little thing? And it's interesting because clearly they made it like more of like a old school theater going experience, it seemed like, with having that little intro film. And I've seen shorts before sometimes, like Pixar used to do things like that and stuff like that in the theaters. Like, and I think that's something that used to happen more back in the day. And obviously I was looking it up and it said that they kind of wanted, like, Terry Gilliam wanted to kind of run wild with that stuff. And if you go on like and wanted to do like a short film, and then if you look at like what he went on to do in terms of his movies and stuff like that, like you could clearly see that he was very talented at that kind of stuff even at that time. Like it's so well produced. Like this whole movie, like it really elevates the sketch comedy aspect of like the set pieces of the stage, like the stage set pieces for every one of these skits. Like I've seen so much low budget sketch comedy stuff. Like I think it's almost a disservice, even though that this is what this is, to call this that, because like it's so well produced. Like the movie itself, it looks great. Like this movie, like in 1983, it looks great. Like still to this day, like there's so much going on in some of those scenes. Like the set pieces themselves are so well constructed. They really are making a film out of. It's almost like they thought of the film first and then put the comedy in after.
Well, it's almost like a bunch of little short films or movies.
But that's the thing.
Half-hour episodes.
That first one I felt was like more like the whole pirate aspect. I don't know.
Wait,
like,
do you understand like where I got that about? Why they did that? Because it's almost like you force, when you force people to retire so the new people can come in. They're being just corporate
America. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah. What's your?
That's right. That's why I needed it, because that's almost putting a meaning to life in a sense, because that's where we all kind of end up in that fucking spot. A lot of us, I thought more than the very few.
I thought it was more of a commentary on like British kind of being like because it's the big corporation of America at the end.
Yeah, with younger people.
I thought it was but I thought it was more of a commentary on their corporations coming in and trying to buy out like their businesses and doing, like, I thought it was more about the clash of like British and US, like, because even at the start, the way they're like,
from old to new,
they're literally slave driving these guys in their jobs and like in the hull of a ship, and then it transforms them into this whole pirate aspect. And like you said, then it's like a mutiny where they're making the people jump off the deck of the building essentially, and the older guys, like you said, the older guys are kind of like, oh, that guy got sacked, I've had enough of this, like he got fired.
It's basically like what's going on right now out there with the world, right?
So that's what I think. It's very clever. It's a very clever film. I just felt it felt wildly out of place with the rest of the movie, because it was like, honestly, like that first 15-minute film was so well done. Like he could have went off and did like his own little thing with that, which he did, obviously. But I just felt like having it before the actual film itself, I thought it was a bit jarring for me, because it was my first time experiencing it. I was like, what the hell is this? And then like I'm like 5 minutes into it, I'm like, where's John Cleese? I'm like, where are these guys? Like, right? I'm just like, I thought this was Monty Python, right? So I was a little confused by it at first, and then I had to look it up, and then I learned a little bit about it. I don't know if we're off base with that, like the meaning behind that skit, or if I am, I don't know. That's what I got out of it. I thought it had something to do with British and American businesses and stuff.
It is bigger corporations coming in and doing it. Like that is basically what it's not about, but it's still like forcing the old way to turn into the new way,
the new guard,
which is sort of kind of what goes on to this day.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
You know, and I get where they started off with. It did throw people off by starting like that.
We're at a point in time, everything in the world is owned by 5 corporations. It's like, that's where we are there. Like, we're there.
But that's what I mean. And they sit at a fucking table, right?
Yeah. You know we're here. We're already there, right? So,
but then that's where they go right to the miracle of birth, because now that they want to talk about the right. So you get it.
I thought it was a little out of place, because you go from that and then you see them floating around in their fish. I just thought it was a little out of place. I really
the fish part.
I liked it. I like all that. I'm just saying, for me, my first time watching it, I was like, if I hadn't seen that 15-minute film, I would have been fine with that. I would have been fine just watching the movie, like, without having.
I got from the fish. Honestly, I got more of a reaction like, okay, this is like us watching the meaning of life through a fishbowl. Like, if you were a fish and you had to watch the meaning of life played out to you, what would you see? And that's kind of where I got that whole, where they threw that in, kind of how to blend the sketches together,
right?
In an oddly weird way.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I liked the interludes. I liked how they kind of like, here's the middle of the film now. Like, I liked all that shit. No, I liked all that.
That was like that go get your popcorn style thing. Like,
the act structure, that's what I mean. Like, this is clearly the approach they took, is like, it is like an old school movie show.
But it's theatrical too, the way they're doing it, because they're introducing it that way.
Well, that's the thing. Like, even though it's a dislike, I can't hate on that first film, because again, it's so well done. Like, that first 15-minute thing, it is very impressive. Like, everything in that.
And then they bust a musical out of it. You know, like, I mean, like,
I'm not huge on musicals. You know that. Me, if the songs are fun, but I'm not, take it or leave it for me. For me, and that might be blasphemy, because you guys were singing songs at the end of the last episode when you announced this thing. But for me, like, I don't care about that much.
Like, theatrical wise, like, you can even have this on stage. Like, this is like could be, I don't, like, if you're going to watch something at the Ed Mervish Theater over here or whatever, and they come and they changing skits in the dark quickly, boom, boom, boom. It's the same actors doing different things, right?
Yeah, like a stage play. Yeah,
very theatrical at the same time.
So that's my only sort of dislike. But then for likes, I put the sketch comedy in this film is superbly well done. Not only is it funny and original, but it's also super well produced. As I mentioned, the movie looks good and the set pieces are well done for the skits. It elevates the material as a whole as a result. And then I said the movie is a cartoon come to life. Even when the humor gets ridiculous or absurdist at times, it's all really well done and top tier level talent that's doing it. And these guys are doing it all. Like, they're like, oh, we need a woman for this skit, and they'll just up like a woman, right? Like, it's just like, I like how, like, they're not afraid to kind of throw themselves into all these different characters. Some of them too, like, they there's a couple of times where I'm just like, where the hell was John Cleese going with that accent? Or so, you know what I mean? Like, there's some moments where I'm just like, or what was that hairpiece? You know what I mean? I love it though. It's all great stuff. Like, because that's what sketch comedy. That's why I love sketch comedy though.
Because they do so many different things. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I had a blast watching this. It was a lot of fun. And I found every part of the movie was entertaining, but then, like I said, there's parts when you get into the scenes that I like more than others, but I genuinely found something funny about every single segment of or every skit in the movie. Like there's not one skit that was a dud for me. Like,
yeah, and isn't it the hard part? Like, is knowing that you're laughing and you might not laugh in front of other people if you were watching with other people, but knowing that they might be thinking the same thing and be laughing at home. Some of the parts, because it didn't hit, and then it was like, yeah, that hit. Now it clicked in, and it was like, yeah, that was smart.
There's a couple times, but I'm not ashamed of laughing at it. Like there's that part at the end where like the person's like, oh, at least I don't work for Jews, and then John Cleese like freaks out. He's like, oh, I had no idea I was working for a race with a racist. Like,
put some bucket on it. Oh my god, it's on his head. Oh my god.
But it just caught me so off guard. I was dying. I was like, that's hilarious. But like again, his reaction to it, like and then like they pan away from him and he's like, hello. Like they totally just get away from that whole situation after that, right? And they veer off somewhere else. It's just funny because, like you said, that person's making all these great points about life. I'm up and I'm down now, and
I wrote them straight up.
And then she literally just throws that in at the end. I was like, whoa. Took a hard right there. I'm like, whoa. It was funny, man. I was dying when that happened. That one hit. If you want to talk about things, maybe that someone wants to point out, oh, it hasn't aged well. Whatever, though. It was funny. I loved it. It was great. So, Julie?
For obvious reasons, that's my least favorite part of the movie.
Because of the puking?
Yes, there's so much. And like,
I love that part.
I know too much about the making of the movie. So like, that scene took them 5 days to film.
Oh my god.
So they have 5 days worth of this fake vomit, which was a dairy-based component.
Oh, it was dairy-based? Wow.
Putrefying in this warehouse they were filming in or whatever. So there's extras in the scene that are actually vomiting because it smells so bad.
Well, that was just a bad choice on their part.
Yeah.
But I guess that's why it looks so gross. I mean, like
obviously his thing, like it's, there's like a hose taped to him or whatever. Like it's obviously a fake thing, but I just know too much and it's gross. It's just too much. It's gratuitous. I know that it's fake, but it still grosses me out.
That's why it's so funny, though. He's showing him the menu and the guy's puking on the back.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, that. Yeah,
I've seen it enough times that I know it happens. I skipped it this time. I was like, I can't.
I always say his last name, Mr. Corset.
John Cleese is doing his French accent. He's monsieur. Clean this up.
Just one wafer thin mint.
Dude, just puking. That was the best all over the menu. Should I get you a little or should I get you it all? Should I get you all?
It was like they had hundreds of pounds of fake vomit to clean up that day at the end of that filming because there was a wedding being filmed at that venue the next day.
Oh my god.
And it took them 5 days to film that.
Now that you told me that makes it even better in my eyes.
There you go. Fun facts. And also, the other thing that I think is crazy is that the bulk of their budget was spent on the Every Sperm is Sacred musical bit.
Bro, that's a beautiful song. It's a
beautiful song, but I can't believe that is what ate up the budget.
Because of all the kids?
Maybe.
Okay.
There's nothing else about it. It just says that's the part they spent the most on.
Probably because of child labor fucking law.
It's also their first movie with Hollywood backing because it's not BBC.
Oh.
So they had money, maybe? I don't know. I can't believe that the end, not the end bit, but like the musical bit, like when they're in heaven, that production didn't take up more money.
Yeah.
Why would it? You're only in heaven.
But also, this was
you got everybody there sitting there with you.
Well, that was the thing. This was before the time where they can kind of just get like the way that they had to shoot it because so many of their characters are there present with one another. This is before the time you could have two versions of the same character played by the same person beside each other in a shot.
Yeah.
Right? So like they had to do like certain ways that they shot that when they got to that part is like you could tell like they couldn't appear together, all those same characters of the people that were playing. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so it was, I think that's why, because obviously if they could do something like that better nowadays, I think just because of, you know, all the technology, I guess they could have. You're right though.
They could superimpose the faces if they had to, right?
That last set piece though, you would think would cost a lot of money if they could do it properly.
It's quite elaborate. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
And
but they made it look that good on saving a fucking budget. That's what I'm saying. Like you don't need much.
The movie looks good. No, that's honestly the most impressive. Like the humor is whatever. Like it's subjective if you don't like the humor in this movie, but it is a good looking movie.
This is like a Beetlejuice old style horror film, like horror movie or like the way the slasher film kind of thing, in a sense where they do the blood and all that stuff, or where they do the blowing up. It's really cool, right? Like that
amongst their crew though, like they have such a range of like talents. Like obviously John Cleese and Eric Idle are kind of like the shining stars of the comedy part, because they I think went on to like they went on to perform. I don't know. They just became more universally accepted as comedic actors.
More in Hollywood.
John Cleese more so, but they're the more well known out of the group. But Terry Gilliam is their big directorial guy. Like you got to figure he's running the arranging of all this shit. Terry Jones is an animator, so he's running any of the hand drawn stuff that they're doing. That's like his big thing. Graham Chapman is a fully trained and educated doctor, and he just never practiced medically, so he's probably the smart guy with all the fucking knowledge.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Michael Palin, I'm not really sure what his big skill set is, but
any relation?
Huh?
Go ahead.
Sarah Palin. He's making a Sarah Palin joke. Any relation? Like like anybody remembers or talks about Sarah Palin.
I can see Russia from my house.
Yeah, like
there you go. It's part of the comedy right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, no. Graham Chapman. I was totally derailed by that. Graham Chapman went to university, and he has a doctorate, or he died, but he was fully educated as a doctor, and he just never practiced professionally. He went into this instead.
That makes sense now because of all the doctor humor and how and instead that all the doctor humor throughout this I absolutely loved. Like all the references to hospital.
He was like the organ transplant guy too, and he was and they always, I think that it's definitely something they lean into. He's the only one of the cast that's openly gay from what I remember, and they always get him to play God.
Oh, interesting.
Because of the Catholic Church's refusal.
That's what I mean. They have some absurd thing. They're more harder on the Catholic Church. That's what I mean. They've done a lot of things that are more pushed absurdly towards them, and if anything,
for sure,
their own culture, British culture,
their own culture, yeah.
But anyway, my only dislike of the movie is that the vomit scene is just a little too much for me. I can't watch it.
That's fair.
You never watched Stand By Me where?
Nope, I've never seen it.
The blueberry pie guy threw up.
I've never seen that movie.
Remember that one, Nico?
Yeah.
Just kept eating pie after pie.
Do you know how bad this phobia is for me? I will scour Reddit threads to find out if there's vomit in a movie.
Oh, I didn't know that was that bad of a.
Well, this is blueberry style though. It's kind of cool looking.
That's cool. I don't know. There comes a point. There comes a point where if I've seen the movie before and I've seen it, I'm desensitized to it. This one I can't. It's gross. It's too much. I just skip the scene.
Yeah, I mean, people when they revisit movies, if there's like a part they're not a fan of, they, like you said, they'll just jump ahead. I understand.
Like that menu part must.
I follow fucking Reddit, like subreddits about emetophobia. Like, is there vomit in this movie?
So then he wipes it down with the thing with his hand, like to clear it off. It's like it must want to make you throw up in your mouth.
And then the woman walks by and he pukes on the woman. That was the part of the film where I'm like, all this idea that I had in my head about it being like more highbrow went right out the window. I'm like, well, this is
life, bro.
No,
it's raunchy.
Yeah, I was just like, this is like the lowest common denominator type of humor that's going on here, and I loved every second of it. I thought that part was hilarious. And then, then you get the stupid prop fucking thing where he explodes and it's like a skeletal husk.
He's like a fucking
But it's almost like John
hollow
Cleese there.
shell.
The whole part of his character there was to like stick it to his work in that sense, because he gave him that last mint that he knew what it was gonna do, dude. He went and took a dive over that fucking that thing like nothing. It was like he was putting a bomb in that mouth, right? And then all of a sudden you see the thing blow up like a balloon.
Right.
Like that was the cool growing up too. That was probably one of the coolest scenes, that part there, right? Just.
And then rounding that scene off is Eric Idle's like, come with me, I have to show you something. And you take this long walk through the woods where he goes to tell you, this is my house. This is something that's super meaningful. And then I became a waiter. Well, fuck you. I'll do whatever I want. Like that.
But that's the thing. Once again, in that moment, they're like, you think they're going to tell you something like poignant, like about life and about like, and then it literally goes nowhere. And he's just like, yeah, then I became a waiter. I guess there's no point to that. But anyways, like, and then he gets all offended because you're like,
you don't care?
No, we were all expecting something more. Like,
no. That's what he was thinking of with the audience, with the crowd.
Right. Not good enough for the audience. Yeah.
Yeah. My mother told me, what did he say? I don't even know.
I have it written down here.
He has a crazy one there. He's like, my mother.
Yeah, well, he just
ends quotable moments.
Well, he says like, so I became a waiter at the end. Well, it's not much of a philosophy, I know. And then the POV is us just staring, and he's like, "Well, fuck you! Don't follow me."
Then. He's fucking God.
He gets all pissed off.
Right? It's the house that I was born in. Yeah, my mother.
Because all of that leads to like, you think there's going to be more of a point to what he's trying to say, but that's. They didn't shy away from that there's moments of that. But at the end of the day, we don't really know what this is all for or what it's about. Like, even in their own admittance, in this film throughout many parts, I felt like that was what they were trying to convey, right, to the audience. And then,
but that was in the actual, the part 6, the autumn years and whatever, and part 6B. Yeah. Where it was just, he walked home and he's like, you know what, that's it. But that leads right into the final part, which has to explain it.
I was gonna say, go ahead. Why don't you get into your favorite scenes and quotes if you want to start?
I mean, I know that I enjoyed that first one, but the every sperm is sacred is probably one of my favorite scenes. I enjoy that one, and I really the song blows my mind. It does, just the way it was, just and just sang and properly delivered, like the choir behind it. It was after seeing that intro and the whole fighting, and then you see the fish, and then it just leads into that. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. But the other one that I liked was when John Cleese had to teach his kids, which weren't all kids. I mean, half of them were the guys in the group, but the rest, some of them, they were a little older than
they were meant to be college kids, I think.
Yeah, well, it was, but he starts talking to them about how you would get the vaginal juices flowing, and he started to go,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Now, did I or did I not do vaginal juices? He says
like nothing, but he's so, he's so, like, how do you guys not, like, how do they not laugh?
Oh, I'm sure they
were. Throw him with a kiss, boy.
It's like,
and then the penis hard didn't.
Bro,
the part that had me dying is when he transforms the blackboard into a bed. It falls.
Bro, I was like, can I fit that in my room here?
And then he makes it like such a like unsexy.
Oh, honey,
banging his wife. He's like, all right, there we go.
Oh, when they're making plans for dinner, like they're making plans. Oh, we're going for dinner to Thing's house tonight. Yeah, okay. And he's getting undressed, and they're getting ready. And he says, "You mounting your wife like this," and then you just do those pelvic thrusts. Bang. He's doing it. He's doing the cat class.
Yeah, his rhythm is fucking bad.
Well, it was only a teaching. It was only a teaching lesson. He was just trying to let you know that how to get the juices flowing for sexual intercourse, for birth. I mean, he plays it through it all, man. He plays
We'll take the foreplay as read here, darling. And she was like, "Oh yes, of course."
Yeah, the middle, yeah. That whole the miracle of life, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That whole thing. But also my John Thomas part at the.
Well, your name drops are great. There's two of them.
Yeah. There's two of them. One's a little earlier, in I forget what sketch it is there.
When the Catholics are filing out of the building.
Yeah.
The Protestants are across the street.
And the end of that song, the kids all like the sad moment where he basically is like, I can't take care of all you kids, so they all leave.
Bro, the lady has 100 kids, bro. He just keeps plopping them out, man.
Like,
from across the street, and then like Julie said, then they're kind of he's comparing Protestants to Roman Catholics, and
he's gotta sell his kids, bro.
It's medical experiments for the lot of you, or whatever he says. Yeah,
he didn't care. Straight up, it's like, oh my god, he's fucking slaves.
Now
he's selling his kids like slaves.
I can wear whatever I want on my John Thomas, and it doesn't matter. He's like, now see, we've had sex twice or whatever. He's like, we can have sex as many times as we want. And we don't have to keep the kids.
Oh, really?
Really? We've only had sex twice, and we have 2 kids or whatever. He's like, yes, but that doesn't matter. We don't believe in having to keep the kids or whatever after, like, or Roman Catholics, they do, right? Like that was a great part, right? He's just sitting there eating his meal, and he's turning his wife on because he's talking about having sex more than they have in their whole.
He couldn't care less if you had it or not, right? That's what he was basically like.
During the movie, they spat out every possible euphemism for dick.
Like, he's able to rubber. He talks about how they're allowed to use a condom and the other ones aren't, right? Like, and I was
condom.
They're literally in each sketch. They are talking about somewhat in a weird way the meaning of life through each one. If you in some sort of weird way, like even the middle age part.
Okay. All right, so that's hands down my favorite skit of the whole movie. When they start with no, hold on, what is it? Yeah, so they started with the part 4, the middle age, and then it's just like some quick little thing with the restaurant setup, and then cutting to the live organ transplants for part 5. That is my absolutely favorite part of the movie, where it's so absurd what happens in that skit where they're organ thieves and then they just go in there.
Bro, no, I think it's part of because he had to ask him about the bracelet.
No, I know, but
he was a donor.
Such a detour from one part to the next of them then doing that whole skit where literally the guy's ripping him open and taking his liver. Like, it's and the blood's flying everywhere.
Well, normally it's a lot of middle-aged people that can give like organ transplants, but they got to be dead technically, right? Like they said in that skit.
But they were they were literally though, like modern day though, or that for that time period, organ thieves in that moment. Like that actually happens. You know what I mean? That's what was crazy about it. And then they go on and do that whole song about the Milky Way, and it's just to convince her to give up her organ.
Bro, did you see the way they did that whole fucking
it's almost like he was hitting on her, but then he was like, "Can we have your liver?"
Yeah. She's like, "Okay, you've convinced me. I'll give you my organ." It's like my liver. That part was the funny, and like John Cleese was so matter of fact, like how he's so good at doing that, where he comes in, oh yeah, what's this here? Like what does he say? I have it written down here. Yeah, hello, can we have your liver? What? Your liver? He's like, yeah, I know what it is, but I'm using it. What's this then? He's like, a liver donor's card. Need we say more? He's like, well, I can't give it to you now. It says in the case of death. He's like, all right, just lie there. This won't take a minute. And then they take out like all those huge stools and the blood starts flying. And then his wife's like, oh, so then you weren't doctors then? He's like, oh, God, no. And then she's like, oh, would you like some tea? Oh, I thought she'd never ask. And then he goes into the other room with her, and it looks like he's like gonna come on to her because he's like, oh, so what are you gonna do now? Your husband, just know that no one survived any of these. And then they go into like the whole song and dance part of it, and then they go back, like you said. He's, oh, okay, I guess I'll give you my liver. Then you've convinced me.
Yeah, no, like
it's such a random ass skit. I'm like, I'm like, this is dark. Whatever, like this is ridiculously dark and messed up. What's happening here? But I loved it. I loved it.
Well, back in the 80s, bro, there was a lot of people that had that. They spoke the liver too, because of that in the 80s is when they did those blood transfusions, and a lot of people got sick
right
from it, right? And they needed livers. It was a lot of that too. If there's a lot of history like here on this part of the world where they're kind of, it's funny how it's maybe happened on that end too, in a sense, around the same time of the same time this shit was being recorded.
I just felt like this seems so wildly like out of place, and I loved it for that reason. Like I'm just like, this is, I did not expect that to happen when I was watching it, and I'm like, yeah, this is when I was like, this is straight up cartoon mode here. Like what's happening here? Like and I just love like how the fake blood was flying all over the place and how ridiculous all the big like, you know, tools they were using were. It was just, yeah, it was top-notch stuff. I was dying when I saw that part, and John Cleese just delivered it totally straight, like deadpan humor kind of style. Like he was not affected by anything that was going on during it. He's like, oh yeah, we're just doing our jobs. They're like cutting this guy out. How about you, Julie?
I have 3 favorite scenes.
Okay.
The middle of the film with the absurdist dream sequence that they don't really explain super well, but they're like, it's the find the fish portion of the film. It's meant to be like one of these absurd dreams that you have that are fucking strange and unexplainable.
Are you talking about
the poetry and the fucking cross-dressing and the guy with the arms? A fishy, ooh, that's the fucking, that used to kill me back in the day, dude. Laura and I still quote that shit to this day.
That's great. That's great.
I have a soft spot for the birth thing at the beginning, because I'm sure that I told you guys this story, but when Levi dislocated his shoulder the first time and we had to go to the hospital so he could get it reset, and they gave him all this fucking ketamine, he made a joke during the ketamine phase he was in about, hey man, where's the machine that goes ping? And nobody understood the joke. And it was twice as funny because of that. And that's in this movie.
So because I know a little bit about hospital administrator type and like equipment type stuff, let's just say for whatever reason, I'll leave it at that. That part absolutely killed me too, that whole opening, because at the end they're like, oh yeah, all our equipment's here, got everything. Oh yes, the patient. The patient. That's what we're missing. And she's like behind a bunch of equipment.
She's like, what do I do? Nothing, dear. You're hardly qualified.
And he's like, oh yeah. And what does he say? He's like, who are you? Oh, I'm the husband. I'm sorry. Only people involved are allowed to be in here. There's like a group of like 20 people watching.
Yeah, I think us Canadians relate more to British that way, man. Like seriously.
The hospital.
That one joke fucking is so relevant now that like it's such a woke joke to make, that she's like, is it a boy or a girl? He's like, it's a bit early to be imposing gender roles.
Yeah.
That was where I was like, wow, they were really ahead of their time on this one. I'm like, this is even better now. I thought, like,
I know, isn't that crazy? My other one, I think I left the best for last. My favorite fucking scene in the movie, because like Nico said about the organ transplant part, it sticks out so much as an absurd moment, is when Graham Chapman gets to choose his manner of death and gets chased by like 40 naked women and jumps off a cliff and straight into his grave. That's so bizarre and funny.
At the end, is that after the tiger stuff that happens? Which part is that in?
It's near the end, I think.
Is that
which one again?
Is that the part 7, or what part did that happen?
I don't know which part it falls.
No,
it's probably near the end with death.
That's what I'm asking.
What scene?
Yeah.
It might be. When the guy, they're like having a funeral on the beach, and then
that's the whole one where he,
the manner of his execution, and then he gets chased by a bunch of naked chicks with helmets on.
Yeah, that was part of death. That's the starting of the death, because they start off with them standing at the beach and they're praying around something, but you don't see what's happening, and they talk about what it is. They say that they had to be killed by women chasing or something like that. 100 women or whatever it was. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you get probably the best Baywatch scene in the whole fucking
It's
movie.
lit.
And it's
How many tits?
They got helmets on, like they're going roller skating, but they're running and they're shirtless.
They look like they were rollerbladers.
Yeah, right. That's what they look like not rollerbladers, but the roller skates back then, right? It
like
would have been in the early 80s. Yeah, but with no shirts on. That was the best part.
Dogs.
All women.
Yeah.
And that part probably cost them nothing of their budget.
I guess.
But it was fucking hilarious.
And yeah, I also wrote down the sex ed scene is like hilarious. But yeah, those are my top ones, I think. And then I think that the sort of, it's not even a monologue, but that bit at the end of the film when they're like oh yes, we forgot to talk about the meaning of life. We already brought that up. But they bring the envelope and then he reads off the, read a book, don't eat trans fats, and try and enjoy yourself or whatever. Like
how many can you guys click off that list?
Huh?
I think Nico clicks off the most.
I have it written down here. Be nice to people. Read a good book every now and then. I definitely do that. I try to be nice to people. But
avoid eating fatty foods. It says.
I definitely do that. Get some good walking in. I definitely do that. And peace and harmony towards men or a man or whatever. Right. That's the wrap up of it. And then just overall peace and harmony towards like your fellow man kind of thing.
Be nice to everyone and treat everyone nicely.
Yeah. The book and the walking. I'll give you that, Jay. But I don't know. Everything else is like it's sometimes.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I get to walk in once in a blue moon, and I never do the book. So
I try to be nice to people, but it's just like it's hard sometimes.
I don't know. Maybe that's the customer service type of side in me. I don't know.
I think it's more like I feel like, and I actually heard that is the most commonly referenced one. I feel like for people saying when there is the meaning of the life, and it's about coexisting. Like that's where I've heard people reference that before. That's the one I feel like people say the most. Is that we're all put on this earth. Like people are sitting there wondering like what the hell all this is or what it means. But at the end of the day, some people have just chalked it up to like, that is what it is. Like what it is coexisting with each other and going through this journey. Right. Like that is like for some people, that's just as simple as that. Right. So I liked that because, I thought it was an interesting wrap up the way they decided to do it. Like Julie said, and I actually thought, it actually was good things that they threw there on that list amongst like obviously read a good book every now and then. Like those were kind of like a little bit more funnier ones just to say like, yeah, enjoy yourself a little bit. But I liked what they said at the end there. It was a nice little kind of end cap to the whole film. Right. So,
but that scene really and up to there basically cleaned it up and basically gave you the meaning of life. Cause the fish kept saying, are we ever going to know when the meaning of life is?
And then the whole idea that the fact that they got like botulism from eating that salmon mousse, which is disgusting, like is kind of funny in and of itself too. Like I thought it was a very impressive how, despite going all over the place with the content, like the jokes and the things that they were kind of all the directions they were going in with humor, they kind of brought it back and managed to bring it all like wrap up in
full
heaven.
circle.
Right? Yeah. I thought it was really impressive. Like you were saying, like the fact that they actually were able to pull that off, or Julie was saying, or whomever out of YouTube.
Well, that scene, they have every dead person that they had in the fucking film.
Yeah, that was impressive. Like I wrote that scene down not because like I thought it was the funniest of the scenes, just that it was the more like impressive fact that they were able to like
got an elaborate coordination.
Yeah.
But they had even the girls there with the no shirts on. But I was wondering, they didn't die; they were only running. I thought they stopped at the edge of the cliff.
You mean like the musical performance of the tit ladies?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, it was weird because I thought that part of that heaven part was weird. But I mean, yeah, even death just showing up and knocking at your front door. It's like that, that's life, man.
Yeah, it was just the all cast number at the end of the movie, like get everyone on the stage,
But I like it, even though like just with how it played out, the whole way that they laid it out, skit for skit, just worked out, I think, smoothly. And it is. I don't know. I still, as I'm thinking about it, talking with you guys, I get as I'm going through even more of my notes that I had written, because I tend to still write all this stuff down, a lot of it. I didn't realize that I've been trying Chat GPT, and I was like, I can get a whole summary if I want from there. And I didn't even know that how it worked, but my Gemini.
Don't do it. Hey, don't do it.
Turn to the dark side. No,
don't
I won't. But I didn't realize you can ask it something, and how really dead on. It's pretty good. It's
start doing that. We're just gonna start putting a picture of you up here and have.
No, I wouldn't, bro. I still got books, man. Don't worry.
I think
IMDb, I go for
number 2, and it's kind of a small one. I think it's in the heaven sequence. Is when Eric Idle's at the piano and he goes, "This is a little number I, wrote when I was in the Caribbean." And he goes, "Isn't it awfully nice to have a penis?" That one is so fucking funny to me.
Isn't it frightfully good for heaven, John? No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that one.
It's a dong. Yeah, he says dong at first, right? But don't pull it out and whip this. What does he say?
That's part 6, the autumn year.
Don't whip it out in public, and they'll send you to the docks, and you won't come back.
That's part of the right before the at the restaurant, right before the fat guy
walks in. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That's maybe why Julie misses that scene. Yeah, Julie skips that scene now because she doesn't like the puking, and then she
I skipped to when Eric Idle's running through the woods.
Unlike Julie, though, I also did like that scene, the autumn year scene with the guy coming into the restaurant. I wrote down a couple of quotes from that part where he's like, "A new bucket for Monsieur," and he shows him the menu and he ends up puking on it, and he pukes on the woman. And then you hear the other people starting to get up because some of them I feel like getting sick, or they making up excuses to leave. But then the woman's like, "I have a very heavy period," and then the husband's like, is embarrassed by it. He's like, "Oh yeah, we also have a train to catch." She's like, "Oh yeah, yes, I wouldn't want to be bleeding all over the seats on the train. Like, let's get out of here." She keeps bringing it back up to the period, and he's just like, I mentioned the part with the racist coworker there. That part's hilarious.
Yeah.
I also kind of liked, as a throwaway, the part where it's the part about what's the part called? I guess it's during the fighting each other, part 3 period, where there's the whole skit with him going into the tent and the dude's lost his leg and he's sitting there reading a book. And the quote killed me, like how he's like tapping it with his pipe and he's like trying to look on the leg, and the dude thinks it's actually going to grow back. And then he says, "Well, yeah, this is nothing to worry about." And he like hits the leg wound with his pipe. If you're going to play football or anything, favor the other leg.
You know that Michael Caine's an extra in that scene, in that war scene?
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's in, like, when they're fighting outside. He's, like, out there somewhere.
I love Michael Caine. That's awesome. And then I had a couple other quotes down too. My other favorite part, the organ part and the birth part at the start, like Julie said, with the machine that goes bing or whatever. I love that intro part. That was great. And there's this whole great line where he says the administrator shows up and they're trying to like start looking busy with the machines, and the lady's about to give birth, and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing today?" "Oh, it's a birth." And he's like, "Oh, what sort of thing is that?" That's when they take a new baby out of a lady's tummy. He's like, "Oh, it's wonderful what you can do nowadays." I'm so fucking stupid. He's like, "Aren't you lucky? That machine over there is the most expensive machine in the hospital."
Oh my god.
That might just be particularly funny to me, some of the jokes in that one, just because this is the hospital humor, but it's so funny. But like clearly the administrator who shows up does not know what the fuck like anything is or what's going on, and he's just like overseeing it, trying to make himself feel important, it seems like, and they all are trying to like just do busy work. Meanwhile, they're supposed to be like, delivering this woman's baby. That's pretty much it, I think. For quotes, at least, that I have. I also wrote down the death part where he's like, like Julie mentioned earlier about how they insult English and Americans, where he's like, "Yeah, let me tell you something about you Yanks." It's like, "Oh, and then he calls Englishmen also fucking pompous. And he's like, "None of you have balls." And is Death played by John Cleese in that scene? Because he's the only one that's not there.
Maybe I'll have to check.
Okay, because I felt like he was one of the only ones that wasn't present during that time. and he's like, all you Americans are like, let me tell you something, or whatever. I liked that part where the Death's kind of like breaking it down to the like Mr. Death.
Yeah.
Or she's like, oh yeah, Mr. Death's here, or whatever. He's like, no, I am Death. Death.
John Cleese is the Grim Reaper. Yeah,
that makes sense. He's the best. He is the best. He's my favorite in person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a big fucking role in this fucking movie too. That's the thing.
His scenes are my favorite. Like the ones where he plays a main, like part in it. It helps a lot. Like it just happens to be some of my favorite parts. Or he's like one of the main guys in the skits, right? Like
when he's selling off his kids, like that it only goes good with somebody like him, right? No, but I even have that after that when the guy from across the street goes to his wife, and he says it kind of like at the bloody Catholics filling the bloody world up with bloody people they can't afford to feed, right? But then he's like, "What'd you say, dear?" Yeah, and he says, "Oh, just fiercely and proud, or Protestant, fiercely and proud," and then they get into that whole spiel. There's a lot of
the wife's
dialogue.
though. The wife doesn't even know what are we again, dear? They don't even know what religion.
Yeah,
Protestant and proud of it.
Yeah. Every instance of them cross-dressing is so funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
also that is kind of ahead of its time too, right?
Yes.
Like,
well, that's during the whole Freddie Mercury era too, in that whole sense of I want to break free.
But again, I think it's British sitcoms too, just in general. Though there's another popular one that Christine's stepdad, he watched when we went out to visit him, like called like Mrs. Baker's Boys or something like that. And it's
Brown Boys, I think.
Browns. That's it. And the main guy, who's a comedian out there, he dresses up as this old like lady on the show, and like it's like a very popular show out there apparently, and it went on for years on the BBC, and the main guy, it dresses up like this old lady as the main character on the show, like and again, it's the same type of thing. It's feels very sketch comedy based because it's in front of a live studio.
Is it from the same era?
No, because I think that's during the 90s, that show. I think it was the 90s and 2000s, I think, that show, if I'm not mistaken.
I was going to say they almost make reference to that even, but if it's before, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, I think it was after, but like obviously those things paved the way for like a lot of their, because I've watched a lot of British sitcoms. Like sitcoms are what I've seen a lot of. Like when I was younger on YTV late at night, they would play Keeping Up Appearances, where this woman called she kept trying to say her name was Miss Bouquet, but her name was Bucket, her last name, and the whole show was about this woman trying to make it seem like she was rich and to impress people, but she was like these poor like white trash like type woman in Britain or whatever, and the other one was Are You Being Served, which was about a bunch of the people that worked in like a department store, and they used to play late night on YTV. There was an hour like just before midnight, around midnight, that both those sitcoms would play, and then I would watch Faulty Towers and some of those other things would show up on the channel that would play like Mr. Bean and stuff like that.
Mr. Bean.
Yeah, so like that I'm more like I watched a lot of British like sitcoms, like in more so than I think films, honestly. But I'm familiar with their humor and what they find funny a bit. But this was great. I just good pick. I really enjoyed checking this one out.
Yeah, I have one more bit of a line, like the bit where they're in the congregation and they're doing sermon, and he was like, "Oh Lord, oh you are so big, so absolutely huge." Like that whole back and forth between him and the congregation is funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it.
Oh, I did. And like with this one too, it brings it totally back around to the way life is. Life is a game. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but at least we don't work for Jews. That was the best line. I think that was a little bit of a shot at Brooks too. I'm starting to wonder if that was.
Oh, that's what you were referencing. He is Jewish. Yeah, and there's a lot of Jewish humor in his films. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe if there's a if there was that
competitiveness,
yeah.
Because one made it quicker in America than the other, right? Too. That was like how they did even with music back in the day. It was like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones sort of thing. That's sort of who got here first to America to make the money, right? Or in North America, right? So I don't like to just use America, but because it's North America, right? So, right? But I'm a Jays fan. That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's a good theory. That might be the case. I mean, maybe that's why, but I think it was just a jab at the person being it was like a racist.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it is corporate America in that sense, in certain aspects, right?
But like you said, no one was safe. Like as you guys said earlier in this movie, there was none. They would make fun of their own religions, their own people, American.
But you keep it equal, and you know what? You can't really get in shit if you're keeping it equal. But you're even insulting your people more than anything.
Right. Yeah, right? A lot of that sketch comedy, that's kind of what it is. If people aren't afraid, and then a lot of the time, if they're making fun of their own, then people don't. It's funny that people won't complain about that kind of stuff, but the moment you try to make fun of another race or whatever, then you know what I mean. Like today's standards are racist just because you're trying to find funny things about another. You know what I mean? Which I find. Yeah,
I find that what they do with this is that they when they're doing it. If you tend to laugh about something that's, maybe off colored or not proper, people tend to look at you a different way, or even look at what you're doing as an actor in a different way. Like if you're laughing like but if you're telling it seriously, like you're really playing that dumb idiot of a role,
right,
you can get away with a lot more.
Yeah.
It's
how you approach it. Like as long as you're not like a hack and you're just making fucking jokes for like the sake of like trying to offend people, then I don't think it's really just about how you approach it. I think is really the way to go about it, honestly. Like, right. So,
I mean, I think even nowadays the line has gotten a lot thinner than it used to be back in the 80s, in the early 80s, right? To walk that line between what you say and what you don't say. But keep it all together, right?
I just think it depends how you approach it, because like there's all these people, there's all these things, these shows that have gone on for a while, like that have made all kinds of crazy jokes about stuff that get away with it in terms of people like just accepting it, right? So there's like Curb Your Enthusiasm, I think, does a lot of risque type of jokes about stuff. And It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and South Park, and I think it's just about how you approach it. But it's definitely, though, a lot of shows that almost have been grandfathered in that have been around for 20 years at this time, though, like that people that are already accepted in the culture. Like that's the crazy part. Like you hear people talking about like The Office, like some episodes now being offensive, which there's like the insensitivity, there's the culture sensitivity episode or whatever that he does, where the whole point that makes it funny is the guy is so oblivious and unaware of how much of an ass and how unaware he is of these type. Like that's again, that if you're going to start analyzing to that degree, then it takes away with what makes it funny, honestly. Like, right. Like, in my opinion. But I get it. If you can look at anything through the scope of like you said, being more like the more PC about things, and it kind of ruins a lot of this stuff, right? That's why I know some people that like actually only actively watch older stuff these days because they don't get today's humor.
I've been trying to find Archie, like for the longest time, Archie Bunker, All in the Family, somewhere to stream it from. You can't find it anywhere.
Right.
It's like totally banned off the internet. You have to go on like YouTube searches.
Because his Jefferson walks in the room and he makes like a black joke every 2 minutes, right? Like
or the meathead joke and all that. Right, oh my God.
But I know, I think it's hilarious, but it's just, again, it hasn't aged well. I guess not, but
they just turned it into Family Guy.
Right.
Well, like literally.
That's what I mean. So it's just about how you approach it, I think, right? So,
well, you know what? It's Christmas in heaven, guys.
There you go.
All the time. No.
Any other favorite scenes or quotes or anything from you, Jay?
No, you know what? Like I said, this whole thing could be their whole dialogue could be quotes. Literally, I try to single out a few favorite ones that I can. Like, I still like the way that they ended the film when he comes out and he sits there and he talks about it. He opens it and he says, "Oh yeah, it'd be nice," but he's just straight up saying it. Yeah, look, okay, oh yeah, okay. But they basically said it in all of it. This is basically what they portrayed it in their short story, in their short film. So I think it worked out to everybody's benefit, and that's why it became such a big hit in their series and stuff. It's kind of sad that there was their end to it. They always thought they were going to do more, but
I'm gonna have to go back and watch some of their other movies now. You guys got me interested in checking them out. Like
with the life of Brian, I can't remember. That one's apparently it's being
that one's religious joke stuff, right?
There's a lot of religious humor, and the problem
Brian
is,
is the brother of Jesus that didn't matter.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
Yeah, that doesn't offend me. Not much offends me personally. Like, not much offends me when it comes, like, really, honestly, like, so like that's not gonna bug me. I'll have to check that out because, yeah, religion stuff doesn't bother me. Like some people, it's like, no, I can't go there, right? But for me, yeah, it's not sacred for me. Like, so
at the end of the day, bro, if a joke is a joke, regardless of what it is,
yeah,
you know what I mean. The other day, I was learning about the Wally
Nazis with Chris on Comic Shop Talk. And how they were stylish. Don't go there. Apparently, that's where he draws the line.
You might be able to talk to it with my cousin that way, but you know, Chris was a whole nother story. Like those war scenes, all I kept thinking was being storming the beaches.
Yeah. I don't know where his barometer is in terms of trust me. I've been doing the show and I've known Chris for a long time, and I still am not 100% sure whether he's having a good time whether he's
and you're actually seeing facial expressions, which is the thing too, right? Which should make it a lot easier, right?
He's a good guy, but
I know.
And I have to question what the hell, like whether or not he's like just putting up with me on that show.
He feels like older brother syndrome now.
Yeah. All right. So, questions? Any questions from this that you had?
No, I didn't come up with
I just want to know how they did the, when they were pulling the okay, so when they were pulling the building, okay, were they physically pulling it with something and then just had
pulleys
and then adding like the screen like of the comic? Because the first part wasn't the screen, or the first part was the screen that it was coming across, but the second part was like freestanding buildings that it was coming through.
I think it was a set piece. I think it was
probably miniatures, yeah.
And then they kind of had that split where they had because they had to literally put like a drawing part of another building in right before it looked like it was going to crash, but it made like a hallway in a sense, the way they were dragging it through the streets, right?
Yeah.
But no, there was just some interesting filming. Like, I mean, I know how that we've kind of figured out a lot of how the costumes and stuff like that, and with the horror films that we've done and stuff like that. But even just that adding the leaves at the end with the falling off the tree.
It's an
and they all commit suicide, like, and right, and the whole fucking tree ends, and that's it. It's over, right? That's it. It's like the end of the season. Then it's another cycle, right? That's the full circle there, right there, bro. But the way they did it, where it was like the one branch starts crying for the other branch, and I can't do this anymore. I'll leave it, and then boom, the whole fucking tree, the leaves fall off, right? Like, so those kind of things where they added that into but part of an actual moving screen, like that they had to do physically with their hand. It was like added cartoon in the background, almost like there was that, like I said, with the whole moving of the building part. But I know there was another one. I just can't right now. I have it somewhere here, but I'm just it's not. There was another scene like that too. I think it was in the sky.
How they did it, yeah.
I think sometimes that's cool because I don't really know, and I don't really look up how they did it because.
Well, that's what's fun about seeing movies with like practical effects, or whether they use stop motion animation or they use animation, they use different like forms of like trying to convey like what they're doing, because we don't really see these things as much anymore now.
Or the fish scenes,
yeah. So now it's like, now we're trying to wonder how they did stuff back then, because we haven't really experienced this stuff for so long, right? It's funny how that works. Like,
but yeah, because the guys that do it now had learned from the guys back then. And that's
so easy now to be like, oh yeah, it's just CGI, right? Like, it's so easy to be like, oh yeah, it's just this, right? Like, it's just like, even though sometimes it's not, like, we just use that as a blanket explanation of like, oh yeah, it's computer, animation or whatever.
But is that like all that superimposed things that my brother does with the chat there of my cousin?
What do you mean?
With his head on everything?
Oh, well, that's just him fucking using AI.
Yeah. So it's sort of the same sort of concept in that sense, really.
Right. Well, that's the other funny thing. I heard a comedian kind of making a bit about it on a podcast recently, how like everyone's just saying that now. Oh yeah, it's AI. No, it's a Google search that existed already. Like now they just throw AI on it. They're like, you know, when you go on Google now, it's like this existed before. But everyone, that's the new lingo now. You got to put AI because like now it's searching using advanced technology now. And like, right. Like
I was looking at a friend's Facebook the other day. It said AI generated photo of
they're imposing that on some things now because they want some programs now. They're making it so you can't lie about using.
Oh, because they put their kid on there. Maybe they didn't want that picture to be used anywhere in that sense.
You know, like parents, they like cover their kids' face on things now and stuff because they don't want their digital print to be out there yet and this kind of shit. Yeah.
With the new phone, I know I can take people out of pictures that I don't want anymore.
Right.
Right, that's cool. But it's getting a little crazy.
On Facebook, where people will post a picture and be like, "Take this person out of the background for me," and people will do it. And sometimes, like, they'll do funny shit to the photos and repost them. I see that on Facebook.
Remove this person from the photo, but then they replace it with like a penguin.
They put like a casting couch from a port.
Yeah, remove me from the wedding photo here, and then all of a sudden you're in the middle of a naked party in the beach.
A dude and his hot wife, and he's like, "Hey, could you remove these people from the background for me?" And they remove the husband. Yeah, it's great, you know. So
I didn't know there was things like that. I mean, I got my landlord who's my mom's age that is using all that stuff now. Like, and I'm going, I've really fell between the cracks with that. But
friendly people will do it for them too. Like they actually will fix up the photo for you. But then when you do that though, you're gonna get one person that'll do it for you and 50 people that control you. Right? That's the risk you run by doing that, right? Because then you're just putting your picture out in the world.
Chaotic evil.
Yeah. All right. Movie pairings.
Oh, anything. I would say try anything. Mel Brooks.
Yes.
You can try anything just to compare the two if you really want to be a critic.
I put specifically. I felt like the Mel Brooks movie that goes the best with this is History of the World Part 1. Honestly, I think that's like you're right. You can do it like any of the Mel Brooks one, but I think the stuff that they're kind of talking about in this, and I can see this pairing up with like maybe the other thing, like The Life of Brian, if it's about religion and stuff. The History of the World Part 1, I think would work really well with this movie to speak to your Mel Brooks recommendation there. I agree.
Also said that about this, that would be a good pairing to this.
Which was also a show in more recent years, wasn't it, Jay? I remember you say you were watching it.
It came out as the second part of that. That one came out as a
TV show.
A TV show, yeah, where they ran episodes, which was nice because it was sketch comedy, right?
I remember you saying you were enjoying that. Yeah. Mel, well, he's 99 years old. He's just about to do Spaceballs too.
Yeah, isn't that fucked up?
Yeah. You know what's even sadder about that is I just watched that friggin' John Candy documentary.
Oh, dude, don't even. I couldn't get through half of it.
I cried like 7 fucking times watching it. Anyways. We'll get into that more at some point when we talk about it. But it's sad because he's the only one. Literally, Mel Brooks is 99 years old, and this guy died when he was 43, and he's the only one that's not going to be in that movie again with them. It's just sad because like everybody else is coming back. Like Rick Moranis hasn't acted in I don't know how long, and he's coming back for the movie, right? Like it's just, I just wish he was there to be in that film with them. Honestly,
they can superimpose them if they really want.
I hope they don't.
I know.
I hope they don't even reference it. Honestly, it's just sad that he's not there to be like the fact that like he's 100 years old and John Candy was taken from us when he was 43. Like you know what I mean? In the early 90s, it's just a shame. So I know that's like off topic, but yeah.
But then you get like John Cleese, but you get like Robin Williams, who would have done the same sort of sketch comedy.
He was more of an improv guy, though. Robin Williams. He's he like I love those.
I would think they still have improv in here too as well.
I don't know. Maybe some. I don't know though. Like I feel like this. I don't know. I don't know how many. I'm sure they have improv skills, of course, but I don't know about because sketch comedy is improv. Like it's this. It's similar. It's just I feel like this is scripted. This stuff I felt more so like this movie. I don't know.
There's
Maybe
an
as
odd
opposed-
line here and there that's unscripted. Like
Maybe as
bit at
opposed
the
to in
end
front of a live studio audience, you know?
where Death is taking everyone at the dinner party, and I think Michael Palin's the one that says, "But I didn't eat the moose." That's an improvised line.
Oh yes, that's a great line too.
Yeah.
These are all like on their way out when they say that. Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, because I just remember Robin Williams, he showed up on like Whose Line Is It Anyway for one episode before, and he like totally like outshot all those guys. Yeah, and like he's just amazing. Like the guy, like he was just like one of the cast members on an episode or two, I remember, and he like blew them out of the water. Like, wow, this guy can hang. Like he's so good at improv, right? Like,
he was kind of always like like a crowd work kind of guy too.
Yes,
but isn't improv like sketch comedy, but just quickly in your head? If they throw out a line and you got to figure it out.
The same school of stuff, but but there's some skits that are like set up, like they know where they're gonna go with them. You know what I mean? Like, which is kind of what this is, I'd say, but more scripted for the sake of the film. Do you have any other pairings then, Jay? Or
no? I mean, you can always go back and watch any sort of British film, comedy. I mean, even the TV show, like the older version of The Office and stuff like that, and watch stuff like and just to kind of have fun with that. I just suggest anything you think that you might like with it's a British comedy, but even police roles, stuff like that. What's the heck's the guy's name? I can't remember right now. There's a few of them there out there, but I don't know why I started throwing TV shows, trying to throw 3 TV shows, but really just Mel Brooks, I would say, and more like what's the one that we have here? I keep forgetting what it is. Not here. Not Comedy Central. That's the TV station. I'm having a fucking brain fart right now. Where all the Canadian ones came from.
Oh, SCTV.
Yeah, and stuff like that. Scat.
All any of that stuff. Comedy stuff. I just put Monty Python and the Holy Grail because that's the only other one I feel like I've watched out of all these movies. And then I put Mel Brooks, like you mentioned. I put History of the World Part 1. And then if you wanted a little bit more John Cleese, there's a great movie that I haven't seen in a long time that he was in called A Fish Called Wanda. And it's one he directed, I think. Co-wrote it. I think he co-wrote it. And he has like some of the other people. I feel like that there's a lot of British actors that pop up into that film as well. But that's kind of like him kind of crossing into the American mainstream because like there's a bunch of American actors in that as well, and it's kind of like it's the whole plot is I think a British guy and an American person getting together essentially, and it kind of goes from there. But that's a fun movie. I have seen that. It's been a long time since I watched it. I remember really liking that. And also just Faulty Towers because I love Faulty Towers with John Cleese as well. So that's what my pairings would be of things to watch with this. Go ahead, Julie.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
I like to hear yours.
Watch any of the Monty Python stuff. Watch Monty Python's Flying Circus. And now for something completely different, watch Life of Brian. Watch Holy Grail. Any of those. If you wanted some of the more absurdist kind of directorial stuff that Terry Gilliam does, watch The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, which is just kind of a really weird surrealist movie.
You gotta watch Robin Williams movie he did. I told you this. You have to watch that. The Fisher King. You haven't seen that still, right?
No, but it's in the list. I put it in the list after we talked about it.
Movie. That is directed by him. It's a really good movie. Really good.
And he did Fear and Loathing, but that doesn't really pair well with this, so I left that one out. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yes. Fuck yeah.
Airplane.
Yep.
Naked Gun. Spaceballs.
Yep.
The Producers, but like the newer one, the
Lane one, right?
Nathan Lane, yes, and Matthew Broderick.
That's his play. Yeah.
Yep. Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yep.
Princess Bride. Austin Powers was kind of a loose one, but like feels like it's adjacent to like an Americanized version. Dogma.
Okay, yeah.
Kind of a loose one.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Which is kind of like the whole, making fun of religious shit.
Yeah, sure.
And Your Highness, but that also was kind of a loose one.
That is a huge stoner film, that one.
Yeah.
Oh my god, no, that one's like, I would say if you were talking about Holy Grail, that fits the bill though for sure.
Yeah, and I think that that's the thread I was on, but also just like on stoner comedy shit. Also, like, yeah, this to me is stoner comedy shit.
I like that movie, but I mean that one's pretty fucking low hanging fruit. That one, you're right.
It's just because I categorize this as like stoner comedy, but
I hear you. That makes sense then. Yeah. All right, cool. So those
basically they should have a category saying stoner comedy. You know how they have just comedy and they have all that comedy.
Netflix, dude.
Yeah, there is. There's a stoner category.
Really?
Yeah, there's one on Netflix.
Of course.
I don't have Netflix. Sorry, guys.
All right, Jay. Legacy of this film.
Well, it's gonna go with me for a while, man. And you know, I don't want to get into details on how it's probably gonna stick with me, but the legacy that this one leaves behind for anybody is that, you know what, life's too fucking short, and just laugh. You know what? Have a good time. But look, they say it in this movie. Life is a game, so just play it.
Well said. I have nothing to add to that. That's very well said. Honestly, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, obviously, this is, like you said, this is their last movie, and you could attribute this to their legacy in terms of going out on this one. But
bang, yeah.
But yeah, I think you well put what you said.
But they went back full circle to their roots, right? To their original TV sketch comedy roots. Right. So that's what they really, really did hard on this one.
Yeah,
to have seen. So yeah. They said, see, that's where they had the argument where the TV and what's so different. This is, you know, it's hard. It's easy. It's better on TV. They're really saying it's better on TV than in a movie. It's easy to do a movie, but you got to fill it through a bunch of little parts, is what he's really saying in my head. Right.
Well, this movie was just a bunch of sketches that they tied together with phases of life because they couldn't fit it into anything else.
25 minute sketches. Yeah. They had stuff that they can blend into it to make it seamless. Mm-hmm. Right. But yeah. Little things that, you know,
they pulled it off. Though. They worked well.
Oh, yeah, way before their time. So it's great. And this one will live on with me, and you know, just that photo in the background there. That photo it's just picture perfect. You know, when you think of Monty Python, right?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, well, I thank you for picking it and exposing me to it. It's a really good one. But yeah, so I guess that's it for this one. So I just quickly wanted to mention here at the end of the show, Max, who's one of our other co-hosts here on the episodes, he's been kind of absent the last couple of episodes, I feel like, and he's going to continue to be. He's just taking a little hiatus for the next couple of months. So, well, you know, we'll cycle through. We're not out, you know, out of movie picks, and the three of us will continue going on. And I think the movie, I'm pretty certain, unless you have an update, Julie, is still to be determined. But I believe we have another guest lined up, a returning guest here to the show who's been on before, Parth. I think will be joining us for the next one in place of Max, because it was technically his pick in the rotation next. So I think Parth will be jumping in, and has he announced what his pick is as of yet, or no?
We're not
narrowed it down to 2, but he hasn't made a decision of either or. So to be announced.
Okay, no, we're not replacing him.
No, we're not replacing Max. No, he just needs some hiatus time. So you know, we understand everybody needs a break from JT. Nico did. Max does. We're good. Julie's on her way out. She's dealt with me long enough.
I took a hiatus.
Yeah, exactly.
I had one.
Everybody needs one.
I've had a couple, probably.
Yeah. So yeah, it's all good. That the only reason I brought it up is just to say we're having a guest on in place of Max, and to say, like, you know, he's not gone. You will see him soon. You know, but stay tuned. And
he's busy and he needs a break for a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you know, anything other than that, he can get into it when he comes back if he wants. But really, it doesn't matter. He's still with us.
He's here in spirit.
There you go. Yeah. So, anyways, so stay tuned. Episode 72 to be determined. But I do want to plug quickly. By the time this drops, the whole week of Halloween, me, Christine, and her friend Katie, who was over here the other day, we've recorded some Halloween content. in place of us kind of doing a Halloween pick this month for October. We did a couple of fun things. I think we did like some theme episodes for like the month of October. We did like a top 5 horror films. We did some horror brackets, like some actual brackets of like horror villains and like different horror kind of, breakdowns of like,
you guys dress up?
Yeah, we did for one of the episodes, favorite final girls, like this kind of stuff. So if you guys are into horror movies, we're doing some horror related movie content theme episodes, like we're doing once a month or so. But I think we're honestly going to be putting out like 3 or 4 episodes of things over the next couple of weeks, right? Because we kind of were late on recording this one. So like to round out the end of October going into November, stay tuned for some October more like Halloween related type content that me, Katie, and Christine put out. They're also were on the show to promote their TikTok, Boozy Books with Chris and Kat. It's like they do some TikTok videos, some book review stuff, and on Instagram as well. So stay tuned for that. They're going to be plugging that they've been kind of doing over the last 6 months on the show as well. And, listen, we're in negotiations to try to get some of their stuff in maybe some YouTube shorts and things here on the channel, but we'll see if that actually happens or not. But until then, you can see them on these episodes that are going to drop. And I think me and Christine are doing some stuff too, separate of Katie as well, that'll be coming out. So stay tuned for all that good stuff. And us on the next episode with Parth, who will be a guest on a movie to be determined. So stay tuned for that. Really looking forward to see what that is, though. And
it's the coming of 2 countries.
That's right. We're improving Canadian American relations.
Right?
Yeah,
that's we've been doing that since.
I'm doing a lot of the legwork.
What year is it? 2020. Yeah. We've been doing it since 2004.
Yeah.
2010. We've been doing it.
Yeah, Julie's doing the big amount of legwork here. She's going over to the stage. She's coming back. She's reporting back. She's, she's letting. She's
like our reporter. Yeah, she's like our. She gets across for us.
Jay went into the States recently and fell asleep at a tailgate. He had to see what was going on there.
That's what happened, man. I fall asleep anywhere. I told these guys, just give me a chair.
Reporting to you live on the scene, and he's just. Fucking dead in the chair.
I drooled on myself there. So don't
Jay had to show up in the States just to see what this football thing is all about. So stay tuned for that. And for my next pick in November as well, it's going to be a great one. Stay tuned for that. It's going to be very timely as well. So really look forward to that as well. So stay tuned for next episode, guys. Thank you. Like and subscribe as always. Thank you to these guys. Thank you to Jay. Great pick, Jay.
Yeah, I try sometimes once in a while.
That's right. Sometimes every now and then you come through.
Yeah, sometimes once in a while. I throw it all in that whole sentence. People are like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks everybody.
Oh, I know. All right, guys. See you guys next time. Thank you. Welcome to the show, everybody.